On my main account, server 40, we were victorious over server 16, who was, I believe, the only undefeated server in Incursions. So they are no longer undefeated. I played a minor role in the success. You know, I hunted a little bit. I scooped some. I tried a little base defense. You know, I participated. I did. I completed my events. I did more, so I ranked at least reasonably well. Oh, they all expired by now. So I at least ranked reasonably well in the SLBs and things like that as much as I could. You know, some of them obviously being 51 plus. I'm in the bracket, in the damage bracket with all the 60s and up. So these guys with these, 63, 66 ships were doing way more damage than I could ever possibly hope to. But the end result was we won. So that was all that really helped there. EW, you've got 20 trillion par at Ops 44 just from raiding. I guess if you do a lot of active raiding and find a lot of bigger targets to keep hitting, that's true. You could be scooping it all from other players. Carissa, you had another whale. Yeah, I know. Oh, Darth had a one too with a 1.25 quadrillion par steal. Oof, even one scoop of that could be enough to totally dictate what's going on with incursions. And that is still the biggest flaw and drawback to the whole system, is that you've got hundreds of players between two different servers battling each other out, and one person who goes AFK or doesn't understand what's going on or isn't paying attention. Thought it started at 12 when it really started at 11 because they moved the time up an hour and didn't get the notice because they don't follow Discord and they only read in-game announcements, and there weren't any. Yeah, that one person dictates the entire outcome for several thousand people on two different servers. Ouch, Darth. But you're right. I mean, obviously, if that guy's got a quadrillion and you just start getting some scoops off of it, it's pretty rough. The time change was BS. I mean, when did they even announce they were changing times? Let's go back and look at the actual announcement here. Official announcements. This was 1/4. So Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, they announced that on Friday, Incursions, so less than 24 hours notice, so 20 hours ahead of time, is basically what they gave everyone and went, oops, we told you guys the wrong time. It's actually moving an hour earlier. And they made that announcement 20 hours prior to the event launching. Yeah, that's not good. That's again, it's another failure on a communication standpoint. And whether they got the time wrong initially and they failed from that aspect of it, or they decided and made an executive decision to change it at the last minute and make the announcement with less than 24 hours notice. It's a poor experience. It creates a poor experience for people, and I'm sure, especially with your in-game news not working, where you can't push that message out through the game directly to the hundreds of thousands of people you have playing this game. Yeah, that's pretty weak. So now, some people had asked, in case you, somebody asked earlier, Thursday we were talking about this. Somebody was asking about the Borg Cube. I don't know if that person's here, but I thought I might just share a little screenshot with you. So somebody asked, when does your Borg Cube get better than your main ship? And while I don't know exactly when that happens, I can tell you It's definitely by the time you get it to, what's this, tier 15, because then you're 7 billion power. And I've yet to see another ship that's 7 billion power, um, with 4 billion hull health. So definitely by the time you get here, your cube is better than your main ship. So if we're talking, obviously we're talking G6 territory here. Is that my cube? I wish. No, this is a member of my alliance, though, one of our Ops 66 players. This is his tier 15 Borg Cube. That is 7.7 billion. And just in case you're wondering what you, I believe the requirements for this do require a level 66 rare ship to get there. Which would look something like this. So this would be one of the G6 rares, which is only 5.3 billion. So Cube is obviously stronger than that. He had to get this to tier 9, I think, to tier the Cube up. I have to double check the chart on that, but obviously, you know, we're talking about huge power numbers with these G6 ships, a drastic difference. You know, I think when the players were capped at Ops 60, their Daenerydixes and things were about 1.5 billion. Now that players have moved into the 60s with the additional researches and building upgrades and things, those ships are closer to about 2 billion power. So we're talking about a 2 billion power G5 maxed out epic versus at 66 you're looking at about a 5.5 billion power tier 9 rare, and then a 7+ billion power cube to go along with it. And he was using his cube for PvP. He was attacking bases with it, and you know that thing has a lot of weapons, right? It shoots a lot of times. The firing pattern on the cube. So getting this thing up to, you know, tier 15 here. Obviously, we're talking about a lot of 6-star resources and things like that, but you're also talking about an incredible amount of weapon shots. You're doing 12, 6, 12, and if you've got Rom because you're attacking bases and he's giving you extra shots or whatever, or, you know, Carol Freeman who's giving you extra shots, whatever the case is for PvP, you're hitting for a ton because, you know, you're a very large, powerful being. You've got a lot of hull health, and you're getting a lot of weapon shots. So for the G6 players, they're really going to be enjoying that Borg Cube. The rest of us are kind of just, okay, well, someday we'll put that in the 2025 goals and see how close we can get to that. But there's a little sneak preview for you of kind of what the potential for the cube is, because I do get asked that question a lot. You know, when does the cube get good? Well, I can tell you when it's definitely good, and I can tell you when it's definitely not good. Obviously, I don't know where the tipping point is in the middle yet, though. Minerva looks better than the Velox. They are all cool looking ships. Yeah, G6 economy. Yeah, no. Certainly nothing I want to deal with right now at all. I will happily slow roll my way through the 50s here until we get to the low, you know, until we get through there, get 56, get my new ship, and kind of just be happy with the Sanctus for a while. But we're still chipping away at this 5-star ore. Gonna be a little while. Malaria, your server 70 lost to 74 by 15 trillion. Some players just didn't shield or have left the game. That's true. There weren't a lot of like lag spikes and crashing that I noticed. Maybe that's because there were less people participating. There wasn't. I didn't have any of those. Like, I mean, there were a couple of times where there were some, bases that were being contested. People are trying to attack. People trying to defend. But we didn't have any of those really huge, or at least not that I saw, huge fights where you've got 20 players on each side all going at it, fighting over the same base and attacking each other. Kind of big, bloody wars going on. It was closer to like 8 to 10 people on each side. So maybe that also might have limited how bad the lag and stuff was, but it did seem like it ran smoother. They need to add some more PvE SMS SLB events to encourage the non-PvPers to do more than just a few loot exo runs and log off. They used to have those, right? Remember, we used to have things where you'd have to like go to the opposing server. That's why we have the exo comps for them still. Like, one of them is like you get an exo comp that boosts your damage when attacking swarm hostiles on the opposing server or something like that. Because we used to have to do events like that. You'd have to take your Franklin and you'd have to go kill swarm hostiles on the opposing server during the middle of incursions to complete the SMS. And a lot of players got mad about those events going, this is a PvP thing. How am I supposed to get this done when I have to take, this ship out and people just camp these systems? There's no way to get the event done. This is stupid. So they took those away. And obviously some players liked those events and some players didn't. Maybe it's something that they could rotate in once in a while. Throw an extra PvE type event in there. As long as it doesn't involve Franklin versus Franklin PvP, I think we could all agree that was a mistake.